130 grand on offer. They've got 13 fences to negotiate. 10 novices go to post.
Well, 16 favourites and 79 runnings have won the Irish Independent Arkle, but only 3 in the last 25. A desperate recent record for the favourites, and Medami, who was 7-2 Medami with William Hill this morning, is now hell of a fear, 11-4 here on the course, the favourite. 7-2 and 4 Gazeo, now a 7-2 chance, with 9-2 from 5 Finian's Rainbow. An interesting horse, of course, is this Dambreen, a 16-1 chance, which he was this morning for Tom Scudamore and David Pipe, and 15-2 Captain Chris. Female on the exchanges, Medamit, must be favourite. You must be able to beat 11-4 though.
Not by much, Mac, not by much, but also a positive is Nicky Henderson's Finian's Rainbow, buoyed by...
Chance 14, JP's Rock Noir, 20's Dambreen, 28 West with the Wind. And Realt Dubh took the eye of the lads in the paddock on the course. Gazeo and Realt Dubh, second tick for Realt Dubh. In the ring, Captain Chris being backed and Finian's Rainbow, but Gazeo easy enough. And on the exchanges, Medamit. That's the one, Medamit.
Price-wise tip at 16-1 Captain Chris, being backed here on the course, 9-1 this morning, 13-2 now. Finian's Rainbow very strong at 7-2 from 5. Also Medamit 11-4 from 3. Easy Gazeo at 4.
Medami strong with me, also Finian's Rainbow. Big negative for me, Rock Noir.
And this Arkle Challenge Trophy, sponsored by the Irish Independent. A good race for the Irish in recent years with Sizing Europe and for Paddy de Plastra. As they set off, Dambreen and Stagecoach Opal, the first two to bound on from in the white jacket, Finian's Rainbow, and then West with the Wind on the near side of Realt Dubh as they clear the first fence. Gazeo jumped well at the first. Medami was a bit slow. Then Giorgio Quercus, Rock Noir and Captain Chris towards the outside in dark blue colours as they clear the second. And all safely over with Giorgio Quercus, the last to land there. And West with the Wind, just about the early leader. Dambreen, Stagecoach Opal. There's Gazeo in the blue, red and white spotted sleeves, worn by Timmy Murphy. Captain Chris on his outside, and they're tracked by the grey Medami. As Stagecoach Opal, the other grey, lands over the next fence in front. Rock Noir made a slight mistake. Dambreen is second, and then Finian's Rainbow in third on the outside. Gazeo, then West with the Wind, Captain Chris, Realt Dubh, Medami, and the last two, Rock Noir and Giorgio Quercus. So heading now towards the next fence, Stagecoach Opal from Dambreen and Finian's Rainbow. These two, or these three I should say, landing over this plain fence. Then Captain Chris on the outside, a slow jump from West with the Wind there. Gazeo is handily poised on the inside, about fifth at the moment as now they turn into the back straight. And running downhill towards the next plain fence, Stagecoach Opal, Dambreen, Finian's Rainbow. Good jump from Gazeo up the inside of Captain Chris. Then Medami from Realt Dubh and Rock Noir, and towards the rear Giorgio Quercus and West with the Wind, both struggling to keep up as now they head towards the water jump. And Stagecoach Opal just the first to land, but Finian's Rainbow very prominent today under Barry Geraghty in the white jacket on the outside. Dambreen on the near side, and then a gap of 4 or 5 lengths to Gazeo and Captain Chris. That was an open ditch, followed by Medami and then Realt Dubh. They're getting quite strung out behind. Rock Noir, Giorgio Quercus is being driven along, and West with the Wind almost tailing off. Finian's Rainbow in front now, took that cleanly, lands about 3 lengths clear of Dambreen. Gazeo moving up quite stylishly into third. Then Captain Chris just niggled a bit from Stagecoach Opal as they run left-handed now towards the open ditch. This is 4 out there coming to in the Arkle, and Finian's Rainbow comes to it, jumps it okay, had a mistake from Gazeo there, hit that fairly hard on the outside of Captain Chris. They're disputing third. Dambreen is still second, and then Realt Dubh getting a bit closer now for Ireland. Medami has made hard work of things so far, is being bustled along at this stage by Robert Thornton as they now start the run downhill towards third last. Finian Rainbow still leading to Dambreen. Captain Chris on the inside of Gazeo, still in touch despite that mistake. Medami is beginning to stay on, then Realt, Dubh and Giorgio Quercus and Rock Noir. This is 3 out. Geraghty sees a stride on Finian's Rainbow, who jumps it superbly well. Finian's Rainbow leading the way and Geraghty's looking round. Dan Breen in second, Giselle under the whip. Then Captain Chris, Medami and Realt Dubh, and they're well away from anything else as they run towards the home turn, and Finian's Rainbow galloping along smoothly in front. Giselle now trying to lay down a challenge in second place under Timmy Murphy, and Captain Chris is third but turning in. Finian's Rainbow still going best. Medami's running on, Realt Dubh in behind Finian's Rainbow. Captain Chris on the outside is staying on very strongly indeed, having come under pressure quite early, and joins Finian's Rainbow at the last, and Finian's Rainbow went through the top of it. Captain Chris on the near side, of Finian's Rainbow on the far side. They're pulling clear of the others. Captain Chris from Finian's Rainbow and racing up towards the line. One for Philip Hobbs and Richard Johnson in the Diana Waitley colours, and Captain Chris wins the Arkle. In second place, Finian's Rainbow. Realt Dubh just third ahead of Medami, and they were clear of Giselle, who made a bad mistake at a bad time. Then Giorgio Quercus and Dan Breen and Rock Noir and Stagecoach Opal, and Captain Chris, who has steadily got his act together this season over fences. There were doubts about him on this left-handed course. He's tended to jump to the right, and in truth Richard Johnson was niggling away at him from some way out here, but again many Arkles have been won through stamina, and this horse has kept going best up the hill. Finian's Rainbow looked to have the race won turning for home. He was certainly travelling best at that time, but Captain Chris's resolution in the closing stages has won this race in the hands of Richard Johnson. They were debating which race to run him in this week. They chose right. The Arkle was the right choice.
Oh, Richard, it was a late decision to run him in this, but he's got his act together today.
He has. To be fair, he's quite inexperienced. Only his first run of his life just over a year ago, and he's improved it all the time. And I think the better ground has definitely been a big help. But he's, he's such a trier as well. It's just lovely to have him to do with. And to be fair to the owners, Jason looked the easier race, but they let Philip run him in this, so that was great.
Well, it's been a bit tricky, hasn't it? Because he's kept finishing second, and at last you got that win at Kempton.
Yeah, and to be fair to me, he's done very little wrong. He's run every race he's run has been a very high-class race, so he's not really done much wrong in his life. But he obviously was getting a bit frustrating when he kept finishing second. But I say the good ground, it's beautiful ground out there, and the racecourse has done a really good job after such a bad win to get it in such good condition.
And Manora, is it going to suit him?
We hope so.
Richard, well done.
Thank you very much.
Captain Chris 9-1 with Stan James and Coral this morning, backed heavily on the course. A market mover in the betting ring returned the 6-1 clear fourth favourite, Captain Chris, and beats the other market mover Finian's Rainbow, who jumped superbly in front for Barry Geraghty, the 7-2 second favourite. Ireland's Realt Dubh was third at 17-2, and Medamit, the favourite, was 11-4 favourite, finished fourth. Only 3 favourites have won in the last 26 runnings, and price-wise, once again, they gave Alfarov at 25-1 Tom Segal. He gave this Captain Chris at 16-1. What a opening double that is for the man the bookmakers all fear price-wise. Never go to telephone tipsters with the price-wise.